Graham, good to see you again. I'll just start with how you are bodies-wise coming out of Tuesday and going into Saturday.
Yeah, pretty good, yeah. I think we've had a training session this morning and everyone trained who we expected to train. So, we've got, I think there was about 24 outfield players out there today. So, the squad's reasonably healthy at the moment, and long may that continue because we need them all to get through this period.
You must be encouraged about now the options that you have available to you. You knew it was a big squad when you arrived at this football club, but with the likes of Dane Oliver and Alex Patterson now back in the fold.
Yeah, it's there's still a balance of the size. I still think it's a little bit on the large side, but there's players that were coming back from injury that hadn't been available prior to us coming here, and are still not for starts. Verdane and Pato. But we know they're proven players that can help us win games. But the challenge for them, hopefully, is when they are fully integrated and fully fit. It's a fight for them to get in the team. That's the situation or the scenario we want to create. And the only way that happens is the team plays well and we're winning games. So. I think competition is good, it's healthy for any football club, but you don't want players that are too far away from the starting lineup that are demotivated and finding it difficult. I think that's a sad sight for any professional footballer. So, we have to address that maybe in January, but for now, everyone's got the opportunity to play.
And just on January, and now you've had time with these players, you knew what the squad was like when you arrived, but you've seen them now on the training field, and obviously those players from injury, long-term injury, have come back. Is that helping shape what January will look like for you now? Do you have a clearer picture of that?
A little bit, but I'm trying to hold judgment for a few more games yet. I think we've had a good little recent run of form, but we hadn't just prior to that as well. And it's the same players, so. I just want to make sure that we can maintain the consistency of our performances and results. So I don't want to rush into decisions a month before we need to do anything. When I have a better opportunity to see the players that we have, I think. And I've just been speaking to Ryan actually about the squad, and he sort of asked me if my mind had changed over prior to taking the job and coming in, but I was quite. I wasn't full on when I first had the interview because I always think you get to know players better when you're actually working with them day in, day out. So you can see them from afar and you can see them technically, but you can't see their character, their personality, how they train, how they interact with the rest of the players, how they take on challenges that you might set in training or in games, and how they take on tactical information, all that sort of thing. Until you get to work with players day in, day out, that's when you learn the most. So, we're learning week by week, game by game, more about the individuals we have, how they can help us win, how they can support the team. So I still don't think we've been here long enough to make any harsh or rash judgments right now. I think it's important we hold fire on that until we get to January, and we'll have a few more games under our belt, hopefully a few more wins. But if it goes the other way and there's not the wins, then we see the character and personality of players, and then we can make a proper judgment.
I ask about January because of the squad size and the numbers that you have on the books as well. I include the loan players in that tally as well.
Yeah.
Will January be more of a case of shuffling the pack that you already own to bring them to Bradford City and what that will look like, as opposed to bringing in new players, because there is so many players on the books at this football club?
Yeah, potentially that's the case. I think it's I pretty much. I say pretty much no. I can be certain that we won't be going into January looking to sign or to buy or to recruit 4 or 5 players from other clubs. I don't think that's a scenario. I think we've got what I can see, what they've shown me over the last month, but also hopefully over the next month, that we've got the basis of a good squad and a good team, and we can bring really good players off the bench to help us improve our performance or maintain it. And that's the scenario we want to be in. So I'm not looking at one part of the team going, oh my God, we need to do this, that, or the other. That's not the case, and I hope it's not the case in 3 or 4 weeks, because I'm really enjoying working with all the players at the moment that are here, currently here, and and then doing the job that we're asking them. You know, so like I say, we have to. But if we want success and long-term success, we have to have consistency, and 4, 5, 6 weeks isn't long enough to judge people's consistency.
What is your judgment of the quality of the players now? The overall quality that exists within this squad? Yeah,
I think it's very good, really high. When they're at it, when they're fully committed, I think there's when any manager tries to build a squad, you're looking to tick a lot of boxes with that squad. You're never going to sign any individual that ticks every box of professional football. So you have to create a squad that does it. You know what wins your games over a consistent period of time, and you have to have players that tick all those boxes and fill out the jigsaw really. And I feel we have that here. I really do. So it's just it's about keeping the players motivated, keeping them fit if we can, keeping the messages and the tactical side of it clear for them. Have that clarity. I think it is important for them. And if they continue to take the game plans into action and win games, then we know that we have quality players that can keep clean sheets, that can link the play, that can finish off attacks, and all the things that you need to do to win a game of football. There's a lot of aspects that you have to be good at to win any game of football at this level. And but I think we have the individuals that do that. So I've been delighted with what I've seen over the last few games. Even the response to the Notts County game, that showed me more than anything really, because it was a line really where we could have gone one side and completely got pumped, or fight back and show a bit of character. And pleasing for me that the players showed that character. So that was a real confidence boost for me, knowing that I was working with good characters.
We've just spoken with Alex Patterson, and he has described training and the standards in training as really high, and they've really lifted since you've arrived at the football club. Maybe citing the fact that the new managers come in and naturally have that reaction, but he also cited how fit the players are now becoming. Are you demanding better fitness levels from this squad?
I don't know. I wasn't here. So I'm not looking at any stats that were produced before levels. We're just training how we train. And players either can do it or they can't. That's it. So I'm not here to make judgment on anything that went prior to my time here. It's management is a really difficult job, and listen, if you're in a job and you win games, you're a good coach and you're a good manager, but things can happen for the wrong reasons at times. But for me, we know how we want to train. We train how we play, or we want to play. Sorry, I believe players want to work hard underneath. Sometimes they might be allowed not to, but I don't think you're doing them. I think you're doing them a disservice if you do that, because we're the coaches. We're the ones that have to set the standards. We're the ones that have to use our experience and knowledge about the levels that you can get to and how you have to push yourself day in, day out. And that's what our jobs are. That's why we have jobs. If the players were perfect, why would we need coaches and managers? So we have to show them the way. But I want players to come off a training pitch knowing that they've earned the wage and they're prepared for anything that comes their way in a game of football. And games of football are incredibly hard, difficult, physically and mentally. If you're not fit, physically fit, your mental side of it deteriorates. Without a shadow of a doubt, your touch goes, your decision making goes, and there should be no excuse for a professional footballer not to be fit. There is no excuse. So I think the least we can be is fit, organised, motivated, and then if you've got the better players and better quality, then hopefully that wins games. But we've put down challenges for players. I wouldn't say it's overboard. They haven't done a pre-season yet with us, so. But no, it's what we want to do is we want to test players, because look, you have to play for 95, 100 minutes sometimes, and if you're not fit enough to be going full at it all that way through a game, then you're putting a result at risk. So we don't want to do that. But no, we've been delighted with the players, how they've approached the training, how they approached the games. They've took their training performances into games. And at the end of the day, look, we set challenges, we ask them to do things, we devise training sessions to get out of them, but it's the players that produce it. You know, I'm not riding their back with a whip and cracking it. You know, we're encouraging them to work hard. We're trying to influence their work ethic, but it's the players that go out there and run hard and tackle hard and play forward and all that sort of thing. So I think it's been a good response from the team, but like I'm talking about the consistency, I don't, you know, the new manager bounce thing, I think is a little bit of a fallacy, and also think it's a little bit. If you think you get that as a manager, but then it's going to die down after 6 or 8 weeks, then I don't think that shines a good light on players either. You know, I think you have to do things for yourself at times and have that motivation day in, day out, regardless of who's leading you. Personally, that's what I feel. So I didn't see a team that wasn't working hard before I got here. I'll be honest. I didn't see that. I didn't see a group of lazy players, and then all of a sudden we've, you know, sparked them into life. I didn't see that. I think they're working hard anyway. So, you know, if they feel they're working harder, then great, because I feel that will make them mentally and physically stronger anyway.
I wanted to ask you about your captain, Richie Smallwood. I know you highlighted his performance after the Accrington win. Just how influential has he been in this short run that you've been on?
Yeah, look, I think all our players are important to us, and look, the captain, I think, is not a privileged position. I think it's a position that has extra responsibility and extra sort of profile. I think players will look at you to set the standard. I think supporters might do that as well. As a manager, I just want them to be themselves, and I think obviously I didn't make Richie captain, but when I've made that decision in the past, I've looked for players who are a captain already, you know, without the armband. That's what I look for, and they show those attributes. But for me, like I said about when you have to tick a lot of boxes to win games of football consistently, and it's not just about silky skills or, you know, aerial ability or whatever. It's about decision making. It's about character. It's about knowing how to win a game, knowing what to do at the right moment, knowing how to influence the players around you, make the players around you better if you can do that. And I think Richie ticks all those boxes on that side of it. So I think he makes the players around him a little bit freer to do what they can do. I think he makes good decisions at the right times to win a game of football. I don't think there's any ego there. He'll do what it takes to win, which I love. And you know, he's out there every day training. He's quite a low maintenance character. I think he just wants to come in, get his boots on, train, go home, come in on Saturday, win, go home. I think I like that simplicity about him. So yeah, I think he's got a real good influence on the team. I don't think he's alone in that. I think there's several players that are helping him and supporting him in that role. But yeah, I've been delighted with what I've seen.
You've part answered my next question really, which was, are you big on leadership, and do you see other leaders in this squad?
I'm big on people setting an example. I like to think that a lot of players can lead themselves. You know, I don't particularly sort of you know, players that need to be held by the hand and walk through everything by either a coach or manager or their captain. I think, you know, you're going to fall down at some point because you can't have your hand hold all the time. It's impossible. So there's an element of standing on your own 2 feet and showing that independence of knowing what you're good at, knowing how to train properly, setting your own standards. But I do believe that, you know, in a team or squad of footballers, there's lads at different levels of their career. And I think as you get more experience, you should, if you've got anything about you, learn about what creates success, what gets the best out of you. And then really your responsibility is to pass it on to players who are not there yet, you know, because we all start off young and inexperienced and naive and stuff. And sometimes that's a good thing, but I think you have to, you know, find out about yourself as well. So I think leadership is really important, but I try to empower players to lead themselves as well a little bit and actually make decisions themselves. So you know, I'm pretty much really quiet before games of football in the change room, because I hear a lot of the players saying all the right things, I'd only be repeating what they're saying. So why they name my voice? They're the ones that are going onto that pitch to make the right decisions. So if they're saying the right things, it gives me confidence that I know, well, they're saying the right things. So they obviously know. It's just about then doing it when the pressure's on. So I don't believe in that one leader. It takes a group of guys or girls through it. I think you need a leadership group, I think, and then there's every individual has to stand up on his own 2 feet as well.
So you sense in this group there are multiple leaders that have that characteristic about.
Yeah, and there's different ways to lead. There's vocal ways. There's physical ways. There's setting the right example. You don't have to say anything. Listen, I played with Chris Luchetti. I still call him Skip now. I played with him for 6 years, and he wasn't a big shouter and baller. He just, you knew every single day what you were going to get from him. And that was a different type of leader. I was that sort of, maybe a little bit more vociferous on the pitch, but I didn't shout and ball before games when I was captain either. I think I wanted to do it by example. So, I do believe in, because we can all talk a good game, but it's actually about walking the walk, and I believe that's the best way to lead, to be honest. But I know there's different ways of leading, different personalities, different characters. And I think they all can tick a box for different people at different times. So that's why I think relying on one person to do that is impossible, really. I think, and sometimes it's highlighted to be one person. It's very rarely one person. I think it's a group of people. I think he's always got his captains and his lieutenants and his generals and stuff like that. I think that's how our groups of people, or certainly football teams, work.
Salford City next for you in the league, a former club of yours as well. Just firstly, how do you reflect on your time there?
Loved it. I had a great time. It was, we were there for maybe just over 2 years. Won promotion in the first year, got to a cup final in the second year. Then we moved on. Met a load of good people. Still speak to people there. Still speak to some of our ex-players who have moved on to different clubs. Still speak to them. We had a. If you create success or you have success at a club, I think you always have long-standing relationships with people that go through the ages, and that's been my experience there. So I look at that time really fondly, because I was treated very well there by the supporters, by the players, by the staff. But all good things come to an end. That's what football is. But like I said, when I took this job, I don't carry this bag of negativity on my shoulder. I think I'll look forward and I'll look back with anything but pride on my previous jobs. And that's how I do. I think a lot when I think of Salford, I smile because I had a good time.
I think Gary Neville has said since you left the club that it was maybe a mistake on his part to relieve you of your duties at Salford City. Does it make it easier or more difficult to accept how it came to an end when you hear something like that?
I don't know. I thought it was very, very honest from Gary. It was nice to hear, that he said it. That I did feel like that at the time. To be honest, I'm not going to lie, but no, I didn't. I think it didn't make a. I wouldn't say it made a significant difference to how I thought or this. I thought along those lines anyway. And I've said this many times, owners, chairmen, managers, when you're in a role of responsibility and you have to make decisions, you're not going to make them all right. I don't make all the right decisions all the time. I don't. I know there's players that I've maybe let go or signed, and you look back and think, possible mistake. That's life, you know what I mean? That's it. So if you're going to try and go through thinking, listen, we don't want to make mistakes, but if you never admit to them, or you think your life's going to be perfect, then you're going to be frozen by not making decisions, and that's the scenario. So decisions are made day in, day out in football. So I don't hold anything against anybody. It's I see why he did it, and you know what, it might have felt right at that time, for both parties. It might have felt right. It's only in hindsight you look back and you go, was it right or wrong? And that's only on the next load of results, I suppose. No, it's honestly, it's. I remember when he said it. Someone told me he'd said it, and I didn't know really what to feel, to be honest, or think, to be honest.
How do you assess them as opponents then this Saturday?
I think they're a team that's they've got quite a few injuries at the moment. I think they've shown last season that they're a very possession based team. They want to play in a certain fashion. They've got good players there. They've recruited well, I feel, over the last 18 months or so, but obviously not where they want to be or aspire to be at the precise moment. So that makes two of us going into Saturday's game. To be honest, I think both clubs would have set off with higher ambitions than where we currently are, but there's still plenty of games for us both to have positive seasons. But no, look, they chopped and changed a little bit with their team due to injuries. I feel maybe a little bit on form, I'm not sure. But look, for me, I just need to make sure that my team is consistent in how we approach a game. Regardless. What pleased me the most on Tuesday was the second half when they were down to 10 men. And we went 2-0 up, and we could have coasted through the rest of the game and not put them to the sword and chilled out for the rest of half an hour. But we didn't. We were still running. We were still pressing. We were still going forward. We were still creating chances. So regardless of what happened in that game, we continued on the same form, and that's what we have to do day in, day out, and game in, game out against whatever opponent we play, whether it's bottom of the league, top of the league, cup game, whatever. We have to set our stall out about how we're going to play, and that's where my level of judgment is going to be on my team. It's not going to be on how we compete against one single opponent. It's how consistent we got in what we want to do. And so come Saturday, we have to take what we've done the last 4.5 games and make sure it's 5.5 games.
Just finally from me, and I know I asked you this a few weeks ago, but have you had a chance yet to speak with Stefan Rupp?
Yeah.
Have you? How did that go?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I can't remember which game it was. It was. In fact, it was prior to Notts County. So on the Friday night, I had a great chat with him for over half an hour on the phone, and he said he was hopefully going to come and see us around Christmas time and that. So had a good chat, and then been in constant communication via text and WhatsApp and so forth. So it was good to speak to him, and he was really positive about the opportunity that we have here, and so it'd be good to meet him when he gets back across. But it was a good chat. Pity the game didn't go according to plan the next day, but he was quite positive after that with the way the team responded as well. So that was it's good that he wants us to do well. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and as manager, is it good for you to have that constant communication and to have that vision that comes from the very top?
Yeah, I think so. I think. Look, we it's like me with players. I don't go through the whole week not speaking to them. I think it's important where you have clarity, and that when I talk about clarity from me to my players and my team, it's the same from boards and chairmen and owners and CEOs and so forth, to have clarity with their coaching staff. I think that's how it should work. I think communication is really important in modern life. I think we all there's so many. If you're filling in the gaps between communication with your own thoughts, you could go off kilter. So I think it's important to have that constant communication, but clear communication, not just chats for chat's sake. I think we've all got important jobs to do day in, day out. But we need to know what we've got to work with, what the expectations are. I think that's the biggest thing, knowing what the expectations are of the board, of the owner. And it's I think it's good to speak with people, isn't it, and have relationships with people that you associate with. I think that's always a positive side of football.
Thanks, Ray.
Okay.
You're saying about, obviously, the other night, I think it was 16 shots on target in that game. I mean, do you sort of sense this is a team that, I mean, they were one of the lowest scoring teams in the division when you came in. I mean, you sense this is a team that want to score goals now. They sort of want to get forward more, and they want to create more.
I think so. I'd like to think so. I think they've shown that in the games with the stats that you just spoke about there. I think I think I said it when I first came in. I think the ability to score or to shoot is there. It's just the intent and being prepared to live with failure. That's the one. You're not going to score or hit the target with every shot, but keep trying, keep going for it, keep getting in good positions. I'm not talking about shooting from 35 yards just to say, I had a shot. It's actually to work the ball into good areas, which I feel we are doing. We're getting a high percentage of shots from good goal scoring areas, and but I think we've we've spoke about being an attacking team. I think we've spoke about the qualities, and this with the players, from myself to the players, we spoke about the qualities we have within the group. And I told them I've never chastised a player in 10 years for taking a shot, never, because we have to play with that risk and we have to go for it. I think players will learn over time that. I think it's good to have a shot in it and get the crowd going and feel good about yourself and show the opposition that you mean business. I think it's important to do that. I think the game is about scoring more than your opponent. If all the other stuff that's been reinvented around football gets taken away, the game is about scoring more than your opponent. So I think it's important for players to feel that they have the leeway, the opportunity to go and do what they want to do, or what they like to do, I should say. And they've shown that. So it's got to continue, and I think it will become more and more difficult as time goes if we continue in this run of form, because teams will obviously see how we're playing and how we're creating chances to score, and then we'll have to overcome those problems when they come. But I believe that we've got the players to do that, and that's the biggest thing. I'm not working with. Nothing in my hands here. We've got good players who can score, so we'll let them go.
You think at the beginning possibly it was a little bit of a vicious circle when you're not getting the results, you're not scoring goals, you're almost sort of a little bit wary of trying those chances, whereas when you're starting to see the goals coming in, like the last few games, things coming off, you sort of think, all right, I will have a go in. It's sort of that change of mindset almost, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a mindset. 100% it's a mindset. It's nothing else. Everyone's got the technique to have a shot. Everyone's got the technique to score. It's there in every pass that you make. Whether you ping it 30 yards or you pass it 5 yards, it's all technique of striking the ball, and it's the same as shooting. So I think, but you're right, confidence has a part to play in that, and not to be seen to be making a mistake. I don't think it is a mistake if you miss the target. You're trying to do the right thing. And mistakes, I think, when you try and do the wrong thing, that's where I think mistakes are. I think failing is different to making a mistake. So what you want to do is keep practicing. That's a big thing, and we do practice in training to perfect that particular skill. But yeah, I think players have been scoring. You put a group of 8-year-olds out on a football pitch, and the first thing they think about is trying to score a goal. So why change when you're 28?
Going back to the Salford thing, obviously, I'd say it's always a bit difficult when you look at it from the outside and you don't really know all the situation. But when you lost your job, I think we all sort of thought that's a ridiculous decision. You were in football management, it's sort of inevitable at some point. You've seen both sides of it. Do you sort of look back and still think that felt one of the harshest, or do you sort of just think, well, that's the territory in a sense?
A bit of both, really. It is the territory. That's the one thing I've learnt really quickly about management. I think I've had more clubs in the last 5 years than I had in 24 years as a player. That's how the game's gone. Or not the game, but this side of the line, being a coach and manager. But I don't think about it that much. It was, what was it, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, or something. Yeah. A lot of I've been at work since then. I don't revisit the past for I don't know. I don't see the point, to be honest. But no, I like to look back and anything I do. Or listen, you get hurt at the time, without a shadow. It's a hurtful event. It's not nice to happen to anybody. I think any working person losing their job, not just football, is not a nice thing to see or experience. Certainly not to experience. Because we all have a purpose and we all want to provide for our families and so forth. But I think we're well aware of the risks and the pitfalls of management. Some of them make sense, some of them don't. Listen, Pep Guardiola could get sacked tomorrow and I'll just shake my shoulders and go, it's football, isn't it? No, but honestly, that's how it for me it's got. And I don't spend my days thinking about it. I spend my days how to enjoy my job, how to create winning teams, and just enjoy football for what I want to enjoy football for. And not get dragged into things that unsavoury. You don't particularly like. I think I try to focus on the positive side of things, and but yeah, it's it's just one of those things. It weren't my first kick in the whatsits in my career. I'm sure it won't be the last.
I mean, as you say, knowing what you know now, and you said about more clubs than perhaps you did as a player. I mean, if you'd known that before you got into management, mate, would you have thought twice, possibly, or?
No, I'd have probably thought I'd be the one that booked the trend, because we've all got that thing inside us, and that we go, no, I know it happens to everybody else, but not me. I think you have to feel like that a little bit. You have to not feel invincible, but you have to have the confidence in yourself that you can be good at your job. That's it. And I felt that I'd be good as a coach, because that's what I first set out to do. It wasn't to manage; it was to coach. I really wanted to coach football and players. The management side of it came to me quite early and unexpectedly, I would say, at the time. But I thought it was an opportunity to throw myself into, and we had success, and went from there. So it's I don't know. I choose to be in this job. You know what I mean? No one's got a gun to my head forcing me to do it. You know what I mean? So with that, I'm full of choice. I can walk away if I want to. If I don't want to, I want to enjoy the sport that I've loved since I was 7 or 8 years old. So well, hopefully it don't happen again that way.
And obviously, this is the first time you've managed against Salford. Is that going to mean any different to any other game, or?
No, look, I've been in professional football since 1988. I've been involved in 1,500 games as a player and as a manager. It's I can pretty assure you that I've wanted to beat every opponent I've played in those games, regardless of any history or non-history. It's you do become professionalised after so many years in the game. Listen, I think you want to do well in every game. So no, I would expect no one to see a change in how I approach the game, how I prepare for the game, how I communicate in the game, or anything like that. It's I want to win every time. I represent my club. That's it. So it's if you've been in the game long enough, I'm sure it comes around. There's only so many clubs in one country, so you're going to come up against them at some point. I think I found it difficult as a player. I did when I played against former clubs, because I tended to spend a lot of time at the clubs. But maybe I've got a different mentality on this side of the line, because the game's a little bit different.